Let's hurry up and get this started.
This could be fun.
I'll play with you.
Bring it on.
By now, I'm sure that many of you have heard the sad news regarding the passing of Akira Toriyama. Toriyama-san will of course always be remembered for his incredible work as the creator of the legendary Dragon Ball manga. That franchise has spawned numerous video games over the years, going back as early as some Japanese-only titles for the Famicom, or NES as we know it in North America. In this video, I want to take a few minutes and celebrate the work of Akira Toriyama by looking at several games that he contributed his incredible style to. This is Bill's Retro Gaming Show, and today we're going to take a look at 6 game series featuring the artwork of Akira Toriyama that aren't based on Dragon Ball. Kicking things off, we have not one game, but an entire franchise that has been going strong since 1986. This is Dragon Quest. The original Dragon Quest game was released in Japan for the Famicom in 1986 and brought over to the NES 3 years later in 1989, where it would be known as Dragon Warrior. The game was published by Enix Software, known today as Square Enix after merging with one of their biggest rivals in the JRPG scene, Squaresoft, several years later. Most of the Dragon Quest games follow a standard JRPG, or Japanese role-playing game, formula. A hero, or party of heroes, travels from town to town fighting monsters along the way on both an overworld map as well as in caves and dungeons, all while trying to complete that particular game's main quest. Currently, there are over 10 games in the main Dragon Quest series, as well as different spin-offs such as Dragon Quest Monsters, Dragon Quest Builders, and even a series of games where you play as a slime. Akira Toriyama was commissioned to do the artwork and character design for the original game in an effort to set it apart from other role-playing games at the time. To this day, his artwork and style have become synonymous with the series, as he has continued to provide concept art for each game since the first one came out in 1986. Moving on to a personal favorite of mine, Chrono Trigger was developed by Squaresoft and released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in 1995. The game follows the adventures of Chrono as he travels back and forth through time in an effort to stop the evil Lavos from awakening and destroying the world. Along the way, he is joined by multiple friends and allies who fight alongside him in his quest. As Chrono and his allies grow stronger, they're able to perform combo techniques whereby 2 or 3 characters can merge their abilities to perform a stronger attack. This added something unique to the battle system of this game over similar role-playing games at the time, and added a strategy to the game when determining which characters to have in your party at any given time. Chrono Trigger was also unique in that there were over 12 different endings, depending on choices made during the game. Akira Toriyama would lend his unique style to the character designs of the game, teaming up once again with longtime creative partner Yuji Horii, the creator of the Dragon Quest series. Over the years, Chrono Trigger would see multiple re-releases on different systems including PlayStation, Nintendo DS, and even Android and iOS mobile. In 1999, Squaresoft ported the game to PlayStation, adding in an anime intro and cutscenes developed by Akira Toriyama and animated by Toei Animation. Taking a break from JRPGs for a minute, we have the 3D polygon fighter Tobol No. 1. Created by Squaresoft and released on the PlayStation in 1996, Tobol No. 1 takes place on the planet Tobol and centers around a fighting tournament designed to determine who will have the right to mine the planet's ore, its main energy source. Yeah, it's a weird concept, but it's a fighting game, so who cares about the plot, right? The game has multiple modes of play, including a tournament mode, 2-player versus mode, and even a quest mode to help flesh out the game's story. You can choose to play as one of 8 characters, with multiple boss characters being unlockable as you progress. Once again, Akira Toriyama's famous character designing skills were called into play on the making of this game. They even included a secret unlockable character called Toriyama Robo in his honor. A year later, Tobol No. 2 would be released in Japan only. The gameplay would be similar to the first game with a few upgrades, such as giving each character an unblockable fireball attack. The first game's quest mode also returns here and is expanded. In quest mode, players have the ability to capture monsters and add them to the roster of playable characters. This brings the number of selectable fighters in versus mode to a whopping maximum of 200 fighters. Akira Toriyama would, of course, also be heavily involved in character design for the sequel. Blue Dragon is a role-playing game for the Xbox 360, originally released in Japan in 2006 and North America in 2007. In Blue Dragon, you control a party of 5 friends as they travel an open-world environment in order to stop Nene, the evil ruler of the Grand Kingdom. Gameplay is similar to older-style JRPGs, with a turn-based battle system and a world consisting mostly of towns and dungeons to explore. One unique gameplay mechanic in Blue Dragon is the use of shadows. Each character has a unique shadow taking on the form of a different creature, such as a dragon, phoenix, or minotaur. Each character's shadow is assigned a class and learns new skills and abilities as they level up. You can choose to change classes at any time while still retaining skills learned from the previous class. As with the other games on this list, Toriyama-san was enlisted to provide artwork and character designs for the game. In a 2014 interview, the developer of the game, Hironobu Sakaguchi, said that he initially found it a challenge working with Toriyama because he was apparently not in tune with the latest technology. According to Sakaguchi, Toriyama was still using the earliest versions of Photoshop from back in 1990 or 1991, making it hard to convey ideas. Despite the challenges, he praised Toriyama's creativity, saying he had great ideas constantly popping into his head. While a sequel was planned, it never came about. However, 2 spin-off games, Blue Dragon Plus and Blue Dragon Awakened Shadow, were later released for the Nintendo DS. In 2019, Bandai Namco released the crossover fighting game Jump Force. Featuring characters from the weekly Shonen Jump manga, players can choose a team of 3 fighters who will battle against each other in 1v1 matches until one player has defeated all 3 of the other's fighters. The game uses characters from such popular manga as Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, and of course, Dragon Ball. There are a total of 57 characters to choose from, some only available as paid downloadable content. Now, the game's plot revolves around Frieza using an army of creatures called Venoms to attack the world. After being confronted by Goku and Trunks, they learn that the different manga worlds have begun to merge with the real world, and that a device called Umbra Cubes are turning humans into Venoms. They must work together, forming Jump Force squads to fight back against this threat and save their respective worlds. Now, before you think this is a cop-out because of the use of Dragon Ball characters, that's not the only involvement that Akira Toriyama had with this game. There are several original characters designed specifically for the game, some playable, some non-playable, that Toriyama-san also created. The final game on our list is an upcoming title from Bandai Namco called Sandland. Scheduled to be released across multiple platforms this April, it's the final video game project that Akira Toriyama lent his talent to before his death. The game is based on the manga of the same name, written and illustrated by Toriyama-san, and published in Weekly Shonen Jump from May to August of 2000. The game follows the character of Beelzebub, along with his friends Rao, Anne, and Thief, as they travel across a desert world in search of a legendary spring. Along the way, they will battle various creatures and monsters, as well as an army led by an evil king. The game uses both action and role-playing elements, with the ability to unlock new skills and powers for Beelzebub as you progress. You can also use a variety of vehicles, including hovercars and tanks, to traverse the desert wasteland. These vehicles are also capable of being used in combat, adding another element to the action. Being that the game is based on his manga, Toriyama-san was heavily involved in its development, not just with the artwork and character design, but in terms of supervising the project throughout its development. It's sad to think that this is very likely the last video game to come out to have his direct creative input. I'm sure, as time goes on, that we will see many more games based on Akira Toriyama's work, whether that be more games in the Dragon Quest series, more Dragon Ball games, or perhaps a Sandland 2 if the first one does well. Such is the enduring legacy of his work and his creative genius. Thank you, Akira Toriyama, for what you have left us. Your work in manga, anime, and video games has entertained and inspired us all. You will be missed. And thank you to everyone for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. Leave a comment letting me know how Akira Toriyama has impacted you. Did you have a favorite game that he worked on? Or were you more a fan of his manga and anime work? Let me know. And of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Thanks again, everyone, and I'll see you next time.